Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. Welcome back to a Division 2 video. We're on the PTS again, testing out everything for Season 2. All of the guns, all of the gear, and today we're touching on tipping skills. What might be a serious contender versus Striker, especially for LMGs. And why only LMGs? Because if we jump over to the gear set itself, tipping skills, the two pieces will give us 30% magazine size, the 3-piece will give us 30% LMG damage, and the 4-piece will activate the special gear set talent, Throttle Control. Shooting builds stacks to a max of 50. Each stacks provides 0.5% weapon handling and 2% critical hit damage. So whenever we fire to the max stacks, we're gaining 25% weapon handling and 100% extra critical hit damage. Whenever we're not shooting, we're losing 6 stacks per second, and no stacks are lost if an enemy is suppressed. And that is a great addition to this gear set, as that is the biggest downfall of an LMG. When you open that monster up and you fire all the bullets that are in the magazine, if you can't hit the enemy, they will go in cover and they will be suppressed, and it takes a minute before they come back out of cover. And this is a pretty nice addition to this gear set. As we all know, the enemy going into a suppressed state will lose you a lot of time, as they will take a minute to get out of cover. So it's great that you can combine this gear set with suppressing the enemy a little bit, then reloading, or of course repositioning to beam him down. This gear set of course also comes with a chest talent and a backpack talent. For the chest talent, that will be sustainability. Increase the maximum number of stacks from 50 to 75. So it's kind of the same as Striker will be. Striker of course goes to 100 stacks, but this will bring up to 75, giving us of course some extra weapon handling and critical hit damage. For the backpack talent, this will be Snowball, increases the critical hit damage received per stack from 2 to 4. And this is, in my humble opinion, a must-have, kinda just like Striker. The whole setup of tipping skills kinda falls down to the same thing as Striker. In my humble opinion, you wanna go for the backpack talent, but you wanna skip over the chest talent. As if we look back at the full 4-piece talent, the Throttle Control, when we have our backpack active, we're gaining an extra 200% critical hit damage instead of that 100% critical hit damage. The weapon handling will stay the same at 25%, but this will give us an incredible amount of extra damage. The only problem with tipping skill is that losing the stacks while not shooting is 6 per second. And that goes a little bit too fast if we go into the open world, if we go into a mission as you see me playing through. And it's also the same thing as building up the stacks. Within Striker, you need to have hits for building up your stack. So then you know, the more you hit, the faster you build up your stacks. This is shooting builds up stacks to a max of 50. That's the only thing it says. It doesn't say how fast it goes up per second. It doesn't say how fast it goes up per second that you're shooting. It looks like we're getting 10 stacks per second, so it takes around 5 seconds to get to the full stacks of this Throttle Control. To be honest with you, if you're running around with a 130 mag in there because we're getting some extra magazine size, after 5 to 6 seconds you are already empty. Or you already switched over from enemy to another enemy and you stopped shooting. At that moment that you stop shooting, you lose 6 stacks. So it's a lot harder to then get to those max stacks. Another downfall is if we go over to our LMGs, take my military MK46 for example, we scroll down to weapon handling, the reload time is 4.1 seconds. So in a perfect world, if you keep shooting, you reload, and right after the reload you start shooting again, we lose 24 stacks. But we don't live in a perfect world. You will always dive into cover to reload, and after that scan the battlefield again to make sure that you can take out the biggest threat to you at that moment. And maybe the enemies even spread out as well, because we all know the NPCs spread like wildfire. So let's say it takes 6 seconds from you reloading to shooting again. And that's a loss of 36 stacks by only reloading. The max stacks is 50. So whenever you reload, you almost reset yourself completely back to the start. And that is, of course, if you keep shooting within that second after the reload. Again, it doesn't happen that often. It also happens that you take out an enemy a lot faster. You need to find your next enemy, and you lost half of your stacks because he might be behind cover. Like we talked about, it's very nice to suppress an enemy, so making sure that you're not losing stacks. And overall, the gear set doesn't feel bad, but I feel like there should be some changes in building up the stacks and even in losing the stacks. I think they both need a little adjustment, especially the first one, shooting builds up stacks. How long does that take? Can we just shoot? I also tried to tap fire to see if that worked out. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes I just lost stacks while I was still shooting, because in between that little bit of a half a second let me lose stacks. So is this then only worth it with the Bullet King if you have people in front of you? Because that is another thing. Or if you have everybody right in front of you. If you can keep shooting at everyone. Or are we just running around like Rambo, just firing around to make sure that we're not losing stacks? I don't think that that should be the gameplay loop. But of course, that is my opinion about it. And now, of course, I want to hear your opinion about it. What does this look like to you? The damages look great if we are on full stacks versus Striker. I think it's nice that we get a certain LMG Striker build. But again, like I just explained as well, I feel like the stacks are going too slow and you lose stacks too quickly, where this will be an interesting thing to play with because it's new, but afterwards everybody and their mom, if they want to stack and if they want to get some extra damage, will stay or go back to Striker. Don't forget, we are on the PTS, so hopefully developers also watch some videos, not only from me, but from other creators as well. Listen to it and maybe adjust it a little bit, because I think this could be a good gear set. But for now, it feels that you have to work too hard for it to sustain it. I'm not saying it doesn't do the damage, because it definitely is there if you can reach those max stacks. Or better said, if you can keep there at your max stacks. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much for sticking until the end. Like the video if you liked the video or helped you out in any way or form. And of course, if you're new here and or you want to be updated about the Division 2, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you in the next one. Pure Prime out.